Hey folks, Mike McFarland, the Lake Fork Guide. I'm going to give you a Lake Fork rundown for Wednesday, April 7th. Okay, we talked last on Monday, and basically the parameters were 60 to 61 water temp, 0 to 1 foot visibility, depending on where you are. The more north, the more dirty, the more south, the more clean. 402.69 was the lake level. All right, over the last 2 days, the lake has hardly dropped at all. Okay, I'm going to guess there's no gates open, but that's the rate of flow, which is that little pipe. It's not stable, but it's hardly dropping. It hasn't dropped, but almost a quarter of an inch, maybe that's close to half an inch, I guess, since Monday. So we are stabilizing, and just in time. There's more rain maybe coming Friday. I hope it doesn't. I'd like to see the lake just absolutely lock up and stabilize. Clarity's, again, about the same. Water temperatures are really starting to climb now. Main Lake is getting 61, 65 I even found in the Main Lake today. The last 2 days have been ruthless with winds. Yesterday was 20 mile an hour sustained with 35 to 45 mile an hour gale force winds, gusts that were unruly. I happen to have a little older gentleman as clients the last 2 days. We just could not go out there and grin and bear that big, rough water. So I had to stay off a lot of the things I'm fishing, a lot of the Main Lake shell, a lot of the Main Lake points. And I'm telling you guys, these fish have not come in. There are fish on beds. It is a super small percentage, and it's only in specific places on this lake. Majority of the fish in a lot of the places, especially mid-lake and especially south, they haven't even thought about it. They have not come up, okay? Uniquely enough, we're starting to have the shad spawn as well. But I've covered a lot of backwater the last 2 days, hiding from the wind. And I put my eyeballs to every spawning pocket everywhere down south. There are no digs, there's no empty nests, there's no fry. In fact, there are no bass, hardly any bass to be seen except here and there in the shallows. The one that we do catch are pale white and fresh. That means they just are coming in. So I don't care what anybody else is saying out there. There's some bedfish, but the lake is not on fire with bedfish. It's up in Little Caney. It's probably up in the northern arms of the east side, which is where it happens first. The majority of the lake has not spawned, and it's still to come. One last thing I can tell you that went through my mind today as I was in the backwaters. Even the backwaters were not warmer than this. Generally, when I see the most bedfish, when I see the heart of the spawn, the water temperatures are more like 67 or 68. Because remember, this is just the surface. 3-4 feet below is not that. That is your subsurface, your first 18 inches. So the big major spawn is still to come. All right. With that being said, I want to kind of answer a question. In Monday's rundown, I think it was Monday's rundown, I talked about the pros coming, and I think they're hitting it perfect. That wave of fish, they're going to be fishing pre-spawners. There are some post-spawn fish, there's no doubt. One of my good friend guides, Jay Eichler, caught post-spawn fish yesterday, big ones. So again, it's not the majority of the spawn, it's a small percentage of the spawn. But back to the pros. One of the questions in the comments was, why, Mike, would the pros find something or fish better than the guides? And what I want to clarify for you is that's a real wide open statement. Number one, there's a big difference in a Mike Iaconelli, a Kevin Van Dam, a Skeet Reese than any one of my clients that I've ever had. None of my clients fish at that level, okay? So I'm never looking for fish at that level of skill, all right? Their skill set is even 10% probably better than most of us guides, all right? Otherwise, I'd be in the MLF, okay? I'm not degrading myself or any of the other guides. Yes, we're on the lake the most. We do get kind of sometimes preconceived into certain things and patterns. But remember, we are looking to catch fish that suit our clients. Some days, my clients are really good fishermen. They're no Kevin Van Dams. Lots of times, they're beginners and they don't know when the fish is biting or not. And they have to be taught. So the pros are going to come unveil some things, techniques that we may never even use. All right, throwing the 10XD and cranking it down into heavy timber and being able to finesse the bait through the timber and not lose 20 10XDs in a day, it's pretty difficult to do. Okay, the pros are going to do it because they don't care. They get them for free. They're going to jam them in the trees and snap them off. All right, a guide's not going to go out there and throw 10XDs all day and lose 10 of them. That's 180 bucks. All right. So answer to your question. The other thing is it's not just two different levels of fishermen. In fact, I'll take you back to 2014 when Keith Combs weighed record weights for 3 days, not 4 days. He broke 110 pounds in 3 days. He averaged 35 pounds every day for 3 days. Well, Mr. Mark Pack back then was averaging 40 pounds. Almost every guide on the lake that knew any better was on a class of fish that was just a little bit better than the pros. Just a notch. Okay, the pros were catching 5 to 7 pounders. Most of the guys were catching 7, 8s, and 9s. Okay, so man, it's what I said. I wasn't trying to throw guides under the bus. I wasn't trying to make the pros be so much better or really judging anyone. I was just making a roundabout statement that's unique, and I'm excited to have the pros here because a lot of them will also look at a lot of unorthodox ways. They will find a pattern. They may unveil something that we have all missed. All right, and there are 80 guys that are going to attack the lake, and they are going to try exhaust A to Z. They're going to put 30 rods on the deck with topwaters, jerkbaits, spinnerbaits, and they are going to exhaust it from light to dark in practice. All right, there's a big difference. When I'm booked 6 days a week, I don't have any time to go practice. I'm practicing with my clients. All right, so if that makes any sense, that's what I meant by the pros coming. Will be a very big benefit, and I think their timing is unique this year. It's going to be a beatdown. Somebody's going to find them offshore in a pre-stage, and they're going to mash them. They're going to mash them. Can't wait to see it happen. All right. So if you're following me on Facebook, the Lake Fork Adventures Guide Service, if you're following me on Instagram, the Lake Fork Guide, then you might have seen the last couple of days about some shad that got snagged. All right. Meaning we're throwing the lures, chatterbait. We're throwing a big swim bait. We're throwing a lure that snags. Okay, snags the shad. I have a picture of it yesterday with a giant gizzard shad, a chatterbait. We snagged it right through the eye. That's why we're throwing the 316 swim bait. They matched almost perfectly in size. Okay. Today on a 4.0 square bill, I snagged another gizzard shad that again almost matched in size. So what I want to do is I want to give you a little lesson of what's coming. The blue herons, the white egrets, they're stacking on shell bed points where the shad spawn is about to happen. The blue heron, Mark Pack, named accordingly, Freddy the freeloader. He sits downwind of the bait because he can't swim after it. When the bass attack it and the injured bait comes to him, he gets free bait. So we call him Freddy the freeloader. So a little lesson today is there's nothing better than square bills for me during the shad spawn, jerk baits as well. But the square bill works perfect for Texas because it's very unique in how it's not snag proof, but it kind of rolls over through the wood. It just doesn't snag the wood, bounces off the wood a lot. And what I want to tell you is I want to give you a little secret. I want to show you the difference between a 1.5 square bill, a 2.0, 1.5, 2.0, 4.0, and 8.0. Okay? So the quick lesson is you need to know what you're on. Remember this. Generally, the big neck birds, the loons and the heron, they want the gizzard shad. They like bigger bait, just like the bigger bass. So if I am on the loon or the blue heron, I'm going to throw the 4.0 or the 8.0. Okay? If I'm on the white egret or I saw the blue heron catch the little thread fin shad, then I'm going to downsize to the 1.5 or the 2. I think this is a 2.0 and they make it 2.5. This bait's very unique. This is Tightline's UV, the first square bill with a UV custom paint job. All right, wait till I start whacking them on this and I'll talk more about it. This is going to be really cool bait because it's got the UV reflective, not glow. Okay, this one's awesome. A couple other quick points I want to share. During that shad spawn, a lot of times it's early in the morning. Right, with the dirtier water conditions that we have right now, I think it's going to go a little later. I know last year, Brandon Cobb found it to go all day, and it was actually better later in the morning. So really pay attention to the size of the bait that's present. Match the hatch, in other words. Match the size. The more appropriately matched size and color, the more fish you're going to catch. All right? Guys, that's the gist of the rundown today. Again, tough fishing the last couple days. Tomorrow looks like perfect weather. I think everything's going to be stable. There's good west and southwest winds at 8 to 10 mile an hour. My prediction for tomorrow is we catch them, as well as a lot of the people on the lake. It's going to really open up tomorrow. Storm coming on Friday. All the more reason for those fish to step up and eat, because they have not eaten too well this week. So thank you guys. Appreciate you watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not. Hit the subscribe button, please. I'm asking you. I am really spilling my guts. I'm giving you the real goods. I tell you the truth when it's tough. Come on. Pay me the respect and hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed it. Comment below. I'd love to see what you have to say and try and answer back as best I can. And be safe. Everybody enjoy. This weekend's coming. And fishing is about to really, really, truly open up all across Northeast Texas. I've heard that even Sam Rayburn is not what Sam Rayburn should be this time of year. So remember that ice, that epic 230 hours of below 22 degrees, it did change things for us. Spring's a little delayed, and it's still to come. So I'm Mike McFarland, the Lake and Fork Guide. Thank you guys so much for your faithfulness in watching. Talk to you again on Friday with another rundown. Thank you.